Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. This is Abby with the Fairport Public Library and I've got another Wednesday craft for you. Today we're going to be using ball jars to make a special little tiki torch. So let's get started. Here is what you're going to need for today's craft. A piece of scrap wood, some tiki torch wicks, a drill, a clamp, some pliers, Tiki Citronella torch fuel, and ball jars. Now you can see here I'm going to clamp the lid to my scrap piece of wood and make sure it's a little off the counter so I don't actually drill through into the counter. I'm using a 1/8 drill bit and I make the hole in the middle. Then I take my pliers and I remove the excess jagged pieces of metal so I don't hurt myself. Be very careful in this spot. You don't want to accidentally cut yourself. Here's the finished ball jar with the hole in the top. So now we're going to open up our wicks. Get in there. Now these are fiberglass, just Tiki torch. They're Tiki torch brand, which you can't really see, but I got these at Lowe's. They're a little bit hard to find at this time in stores, but you can find them online for certain if you need them. So we're gonna take off the lid for these. I might use my pliers again for this part. So I'm gonna take my lid and then I start to try to feed this through. Now you want to be careful of your edges because they're a little bit sharp. All right, so I'm going to pull that through. So I don't want a whole lot of wick on the top. I want the bottom of this wick to touch the bottom of the jar. So at this point I can just push it. There we go, and that is the bottom touching the bottom of the jar. So you're gonna have little fiberglass bits. Just make sure you get them out of there. Don't inhale them. They're probably not good for you. I'm not actually sure if they're terrible for you, but I just imagine breathing in fiberglass is probably not the best. So I'm going to do that with the second one. Next thing we're gonna do is fill up our torches with our fluid. So I got the Bug Fighter Tiki torch fluid with citronella and cedar. I live next to a wooded area, so we get a lot of bugs. And when I put these out on my deck, I wanna be able to have as much bug fighting power as I can. So I'm just gonna open this up. I got this at Lowe's as well. And it's readily available right now because it's still in the middle of summer. But you know, it's a good thing to do. So we got the lid off and I'm gonna just remove this and look, they've got a nice little pouring spout for us. So I'm gonna fill these jars pretty high because I don't want to refill it very often. So this might be a little messy. You might wanna do this outside if you're concerned about it, but like I said, I'm gonna give it a nice fill. All right, and I'm gonna do that with my second jar. Next up, we are going to trim the Tiki torch wick. So they recommend it be no more than 3/4 inch above the, let me remove this part, above the holder. So I'm gonna cut it pretty close. Now they say that because if it's shorter and lower, you're gonna reduce smoke and soot. All right, so I have mine cut pretty low and I'm gonna put that into my oil. So it's gonna need a little while for the oil to soak up into the wick. So don't expect to burn them right away after you make them. So I'm gonna do that for this next one. Get as low as I can. I'm trying to make it as straight across as you can as well. So I'm gonna lower that one in. Now, I got these ball jars at Target. I got these vintage ones that are kind of blue tinted. I really like the look of it. I think they look so much better than just a regular ball jar. But if you want, use whatever you like. You could paint your ball jars. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you could do to make it fit more into your decor. These I think will fit nicely on my porches. I'm going to make 2 more. The blue ball jars come in a pack of 4, so I'm gonna make 2 more and put them on my other deck and see if they work. But in a minute, I'll show you the finished product. All right, here we go. Here's the final product. They're burning well. They are still putting off a little bit of smoke, but I think that could be the brand of the Tiki torch fluid that I have. But we're gonna keep these out and see how it goes, and I will report back on how they fought off mosquitoes. There you go. I hope you had fun making this craft, and I hope you were very careful when you were using your power tools. But please share with me what you make. I would love to see them, and let me know if they work for you. And I will see you next Wednesday for another craft.